again, my beautiful friends and beautiful nerdies. Welcome back to Books and Coffee, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again. I really appreciate it. So sorry this video is a little late. I had to take a little bit of a me time last week, but I'm back and I am super excited to continue our Disney Twisted Tales month. So yeah, guys, welcome back and let's jump right in. So for this week's Books and Coffee video, again, continuing our Disney Twisted adventure, this week's book is actually the Twisted Tale for Hercules called Go the Distance. And the twist for this tale is, what if Meg had to become a god? Pretty dope, right? So yeah, guys, again, another very excited to share this book with you. Again, look how pretty these covers are. I cannot get over how gorgeous these book covers are, like for reals. Again, like I just, oh God, it's so pretty. So obviously, guys, before we jump into the goodiness of this amazing story, definitely want to talk about the author, which actually is Miss Jen Caliona. So Miss Jen Caliona has actually been writing for as long as she can remember. She definitely in her bio stated that she has just been a super creative person ever since she was younger. She's always loved writing, and like, yeah, she just can't remember a day that she didn't have a pen or a pencil in her hand. And as somebody who is a creative, I absolutely love this trait because I am kind of the same way when it comes to my voiceover craft. I definitely cannot remember a day that I wasn't making some silly voice or becoming a character and just letting my craft live through me. So definitely connected with her in that sense. So her biggest passion, obviously, involves writing young adult novels, and not just for young adults. She actually really also loves writing young adult stories for all ages, which is something that, again, as a reader who doesn't typically read young adult novels very much, it does take a certain twist, if you might, to get me intrigued with a young adult story. And obviously, I mean, all you had to say was Hercules, and I'm kind of yours. And the fact that this story actually focuses on Meg, check please. Plus, I mean, come on, you can see who's on the cover, so you know Mr. Sassy Pants is gonna be in the story too. Which actually brings me to my third little known fact about Miss Jen Caliona, is that she also wrote another Disney Twisted Tale, which is the Frozen one, called Conceal, Don't Feel. Definitely is on my TBR list. Haven't bought it yet, need to get through, obviously, the bookshelf over here. But of course, it's definitely on the to buy list as well as the to read list, so I am very excited to dive into those books, and yeah, I'm just super excited. But back to Go the Distance, which was actually published on April 6th, 2021. So just a little over a year ago, which is really exciting. I will say I actually bought this book not super recently, but within this year. I believe I bought it back in February. And so I thought that that was really cool, that, you know, I was going to be able to book review this shortly after its 1 year anniversary. So thought that was pretty nifty. And I do gotta say, man, it holds up for sure. Now, of course, before we get into my whys and talking about how amazing this book is, we definitely need to know what we're getting ourselves into. What if Meg had to become a god? After Hercules proves he's a true hero and regains his godhood, all seems right in the world. That is, until Zeus tells Megara that she can't be with Hercules because she's, well, mortal. Luckily, Hera has a solution, offering Meg a chance to prove herself worthy of a spot on Mount Olympus as a god. All Meg has to do is complete a mysterious quest. The quest? Oh, just rescue her ex-boyfriend's wife from the underworld. The ex-boyfriend who she saved by selling her soul to Hades. The ex-boyfriend who immediately moved on to someone else while Meg was stuck in the underworld. Can Meg put her past behind her and use her quick wit to defeat monsters and gods alike, including the nefarious Hades? Will she finally figure out where she belongs and what she has to offer? Or will her fear of commitment have her running away from an eternity of godhood with Herc? So yeah, guys, the cover alone for me personally, I already picked it up and was just like, oh my goodness, it's a Twisted Tales about Hercules. And then of course you read the twist, which is what if Meg had to become a god? And I was like, okay, tell me more. And after reading that description of what this book was going to be about, oh man, I put this book faster in my Barnes & Noble bag than you could like say Twisted. I was just so excited and so thrilled to be reading and getting to like be more involved in the world of Hercules. Which of course brings me into our next point is to why this book. So other than the fact that it's the second book of the Twisted Disney Tales series in our theme of the month, one of my biggest reasons for reading this book was much like the previous book that I did, which was The Little Mermaid, nostalgic reasons. Hercules is one of my favorite Disney movies. Aside, along with the music, along with the characters and the story itself, even though it's a little out there, I absolutely loved the movie Hercules. And the fact that this book actually kind of continues that journey with these characters, and not just any characters in particular, but obviously Meg, getting to know Meg more. If anything, that was what was super exciting, and just getting to revisit a world, but obviously with a twist, and just to see it written through an author's point of view, which again is one of the many reasons I love these Disney Twisted Tales so much, is because it's a world I'm already familiar with. However, I'm seeing it through the lens, a brand new lens of somebody else's view of the world that I already love. And so it's almost like I get to re-experience the world in a new way, and that is what is super exciting about these Disney Twisted Tales, and obviously what got me really excited about this book right here. So guys, just a heads up, there are going to be some slight spoilers. I didn't go overly too bad. Again, I'm trying really, really hard not to spoil anything for you guys. I really just kind of want to talk about, obviously what this book did right, and why it's super enjoyable, and all of the nifty stuff that this book has. Definitely do though spoil just a little bit, not really a lot. A lot of it, the stuff that I'm going to be talking about kind of happens in the beginning of the book, and then anything revelation wise kind of is hinted at the beginning, and obviously you find it out later on in the book. So, but again, just forewarning you guys that there are a little bit of spoilers in the book. But yes, so there you go, guys. Just a little bit of a warning, heads up. I am going to try my very, very best to put some time slots down at the bottom. I'll have it either right here for you or down here somewhere. And we're just going to make sure that if, I do go into some spoilery things, that I make sure to put a time code down for you to skip, so that way you don't hear anything, and in case you want to, experience the book for yourself. I totally understand. But yep, guys, let's just jump right into this one. So I already touched a little bit on why this book kind of did it for me, and it was basically I got to revisit Meg. I mean, let's be real. I remember watching the movie Hercules, and Meg being this beautiful, first of all, sassy, don't need no man to rescue me type of thing, even though she was being manhandled by a centaur. She was one of my female idols back in the day, just because again, she was just super sassy, was I take care of myself type attitude. And I mean, come on, who doesn't love that attitude? But the fact that I got to revisit Meg, and not only that, but I got to get to know her even more. Again, it's almost being able to view Meg in a new lens. Again, being able to rediscover Meg, be able to get to know Meg all over again, but with obviously some new details to her that I didn't know about in the cartoon. And that's what I absolutely really enjoyed about this book. I got to see what made her tick. I got to see what drove her. And it's so interesting in terms of like how she acts and like the certain, things that she does in the cartoon, like some of her reactions. Because then you find out, like in this book, why she does the things that she does, why she says the things that she does, and why she kind of comes off as this like tough, loving, don't need no man type thing. And that it actually has like a deeper meaning and some deeper scars other than the ones that we already know. Which all of it kind of actually ties into the theme. And I feel like Meg's lesson in the book is the theme. And for me, that theme was more along the lines of you can't let your fear define your perception of love. And by like fear, I mean like the fear of loss of a relationship or the fear of loss of, someone very close to you, just loss in general. And I thought that was such a powerful message, because it really is one of those where as you kind of get to discover about Meg's past, it really does open up, not like a can of worms per se, but it does give, you as the reader a perception and idea of like, oh, this is why she is acting and this is why she is saying the things that she does / says. Because she's kind of traumatized and she's viewed commitment and love like this because this is her perception of it. The other theme, for me anyway, that I kind of discovered as well is while letting go can be extremely painful and sometimes bitterly sweet, it can actually offer the greatest of healing that one can do for yourself. And whether that be, letting go of a loss in terms of like, a relative or a friend, somebody passing on, or even the letting go of different sorts of relationships, familial relationships that were toxic. Maybe a friendship that just ended or a relationship that just ended. That's kind of the theme that I got from this as well. And of course, the main theme of Hercules, I feel that kind of carries over into this book is that, people do crazy things when they're in love. Of course, the one thing that I really want to touch on is kind of that first theme. And it's because I feel like the first theme, while the rest of the themes, do kind of reflect the lesson Meg learns, I feel like the first theme, the one that I stated before, actually connects with her even more so. And what I mean by that is that Meg's fear of commitment and of, love actually stems from way back, even farther than the failed relationship she has that, we see in the movie and stuff about her ex-boyfriend that she sells her soul for. And that's actually the thing that actually traumatized her the most was actually the separation of her parents. Her dad actually leaves her and her mom, and then what happens is that her mom, obviously being hurt, kind of gains this world view of that, like, nobody is gonna say truthful things, that they may say one thing but they actually mean the other, and to just not trust anybody. The only people that you could trust is yourself and of course me. And that kind of like warped a very young Megara's mind, especially when it came to outside relationships other than her mom. And so that's why eventually when her mother does have an accident and perishes, Meg has this like overwhelming sense of grief that she kind of hangs on to almost throughout the story. And it is one of those where you feel for her because she has like this almost how do you say it? It's almost like she has this, like she's clinging on to her mother, even though her mother is, once her mother passes and she's long gone, she carries that burden with her and she carries those ideals and she kind of lets it mold her into the woman that she eventually becomes. And yes, while like, it is a good, healthy way, have like, I don't need anybody in terms of like, I can take care of myself. I am my own best friend. Like, while in like that, like, I guess you could say outline of it, and that like, on the surface thought, while it is a good structure to have for oneself and one's mindset, based off of the trauma though that she has experienced, it could be, like it's very hard for her to accept help and to accept friendships and to accept new relationships, because she doesn't allow herself to trust anybody because of the experiences that her and her mom have had. And again, the lessons that were pounded into her. And that's why it was super interesting, and I feel like why it hurt Meg so much when her ex-boyfriend left her, so quickly. Because, as we go through the story, we learn that she actually like tried to like break that mindset of like, no, Mom, like, I understand that you felt this way because you were hurt, but I don't believe that all people were like that maybe I can trust this person, that I can give my heart to this person. And she does, obviously. I mean, they ended up dating, and they were very, very close, to the point where they were potentially going to start a life together. And then, of course, he gets really, really sick, and she is like begging all of the gods to help, and none of the gods intervene except for Hades, my main man. And he offers to help her, and of course she takes it, very quickly, and then everything falls apart. And when she sees that her boyfriend has moved on, it is like a super, super big betrayal to her. And she does kind of revert back to that original, like, my mom was right type of thing. Like, I can't trust anybody. The only people I can trust is myself. And that's where, like, that, like, twisted trauma comes in, and why the walls get built up. And it's why, even during, as the story goes on, she's having, like, difficulty accepting the potential of being a god for eternity with Hercules. Because, again, being a god for eternity, that is a huge, huge commitment. And it's so interesting because obviously, as the story is going on and Meg is going about her quest and stuff, and like, doing the quest because she like wants to do this quest, she wants to complete this quest, while at the same time she is constantly fighting herself, because she's like, do I love Hercules? I mean, I really, really care for him. I want to have more time with him. We didn't have much time together. I want to have more time, but do I want an eternity of time? Or do I just want a little bit of time? Like, I don't know. It's like being away from him and not being able to ever see him again, like, it hurts. Like, I don't like that thought. But the idea of being a god for eternity with him, it like sends her in, like, she's constantly battling with herself, and it is so freaking good just to watch this inner turmoil, while also watching her like learn lessons on the outside. I mean, anybody that has read a Greek play knows that the Greeks love to have their godly lessons. Like, there's always a thing where the gods put the heroes on the quest, or the hero or whatever has to go through a lesson, and it has something to do with like morals and all of that stuff. This book literally does that. So it is super interesting, and that's another thing I really liked about reading this story, was that I kind of got to see a little bit of inspiration from like Greek plays. I mean, obviously it's a Greek story, but like just being able to see those little things of like, oh, this is like the Greek play lesson of the day. Which of course brings us kind of like right back around to the quest itself. And so obviously like the first half of the quest is just kind of like Meg finding the tools and weapons that she's gonna need to complete her quest. And then of course when she finds out what the quest is, which is, oh yeah, by the way, good job on collecting all of this stuff, good for you, Meg. However, here's the quest. You need to save your ex-boyfriend's wife's soul from the underworld. Cause you just gotta do it. That's your one quest. Super easy. And Meg's just like, excuse fucking me? What? And of course, I mean, we're the same way too. I remember, like, again, reading the front and being like, why? How? Like, that's such turmoil. But of course, not everything is as it seems, which again, won't spoil too much. Definitely don't want to like spoil that surprise for you. But I mean, there's definitely like a huge twist in terms of like that whole scenario. But it is a huge can of worms for Meg, because again, when she finds out what the quest is, she is still struggling. She is still like angry. And I mean, at one point she is able to call upon Hercules just to talk. Like at one point she's just like, I just need to step away. I need advice. I need to talk. And the only person that I know I can really talk to is her. So she calls upon Hercules, and they have this really, really sweet moment where she's like, I don't need you to give me advice. I don't need you to tell me anything. I just need you to listen. And she just vents. And it is honestly the sweetest scene between Hercules and Meg that I've seen. That obviously the scenes in the movie were really cute, but this was kind of like the beginnings of like their relationship, I guess. Like it's one of those where it's like, at this point we don't really know if they're together or not. Like it's one of those where it's like, yes, but not officially yet, just because she's still mortal and Hercules is a god at this point. But anyway, but just this scene between them while she gets to like, you know, express her anger, because obviously she's extremely angry and she's been holding on to all of this anger and like this, like not really hatred, but just like betrayal, this feeling of betrayal. And of course, you know, Hercules tells her that, you know, if it's too painful for you and, you know, like I understand that this is going to be a huge thing for you. And, you know, I wish there was more I could do, but I feel like, you know, you taking this step and maybe, you know, just talking to him, even if like, you know, ask your questions, like find out why he did the things he did. And then maybe that could help you heal. And like this whole time, like Hercules again doesn't give Meg advice. You know, obviously he lets her vent and stuff and say what she has to say. And then of course, then he kind of just gives his 2 cents where it's like, you know, you could either take it or you don't, you know, it that's your decision and stuff. But from my point of view, if that had happened to me, he goes, I would want to know why. And he goes, because I feel like once you know why, then you could move on. And he goes, at that point, then you can make the decision whether or not, you know, you want to continue the quest. If you don't, then you don't. But if you do, then you know, that's good too. And of course, that like this whole time, Meg's listening to him, and she's just like, oh my gosh, like you're, like I wish we had more time. I wish, you know. And it's, oh my gosh, it's just this really cute scene, and just thinking about it just makes me so happy. But again, I won't spoil too much of this part of the story, just because it was such a good part of the story, because again, you get to see Meg go through this emotional change from just starting off like with the relationship that she has with her ex to the present, and like obviously the overarching things that happen and stuff, and just watching her, you know, kind of express her anger at her ex, and you know, coming to find out like all of this stuff about him, and just going through the character development that she goes through from, you know, meeting him again to getting her why, to then kind of making the decision whether or not to complete the quest, which of course she does choose to, you know. I mean, come on, if she chose not to, then this would be a really short book. And I don't think I would be giving it as a high regard as I am right now. But yes, so yes, she does choose to continue to go on with the quest. And it is one of those where it's like you get to watch her make these decisions based off of just her character development and her understanding and her coming to terms and accepting. And oh my gosh, it is just, this book is so good. The writing is so great and amazing. And again, I get to know Meg. This is such a new side of Megara that I absolutely enjoyed, because, you know, there not to say that I kind of connect with Meg on like she's like hitting all of the buttons for me, but there are certain things that she goes through that I've gone through or am going through. Like, it's just one of those where you get to rediscover and reconnect with Megra. And not only that, but obviously you get to reconnect with all of the old characters again. You get to reconnect with Hercules. Philoctetes in this is in the movie. He is in the movie, but he's in the book as well. And obviously getting to be reintroduced to like all of the gods and stuff. And just, it's so wonderful to be able to reconnect, especially with Meg, and just get to experience this beautiful character development for her and watch her go through kind of like this grieving process, like this prolonged grieving process that she has for so long put off. And it is honestly very, very beautiful, and again, very, very well written. Now, of course, I could not go through this book review without mentioning one of my favorite parts of the book, which is, you guessed it, Hades is back, baby. Oh my gosh. I literally, I was just super excited, and I was waiting the entire book for Hades to come. And when he did, ooh girl, did Miss Jen not disappoint. He is still the sassy, kind of roguish, dark god that we all know him to be. He is amazing, and of course I just absolutely fell in love with him all over again, especially because obviously the last half of the book really does take a chunk part of it is in the underworld, and so obviously Hades has to make an appearance. And of course, what I absolutely enjoyed was that we get a kind of a mini side story with Hades. We get to kind of revisit the relationship that he and Meg have. Obviously, for when they made the deal of her soul to now after the big quote unquote betrayal that Meg did, which is so funny that I just have to talk about this part. But in the book, he calls her dying a betrayal, and I just busted up. I was just that was the betrayal, dude. Yes, Hercules was gonna die, and for you, yeah, you I can understand how it's kind of just let the pillar kill Hercules. You didn't have to sacrifice yourself and be all Miss Noble and stuff, but I just busted up laughing, because even Meg was all I wasn't gonna let him die, and then Hades was yeah, no, that's the betrayal, dummy. Of course, along with getting to revisit this relationship with between Meg and Hades, it's hinted at the beginning of the book, but and again, little spoiler here. So again, if you don't want to hear this, I'll put some sort of time frame down here somewhere. I don't know, but I won't talk too much on it. But still, I understand that it's kind of a little bit of a surprise, not really if you're paying attention. So at the beginning of the book, we overhear Aphrodite and Demeter speaking, especially after the big announcement that Zeus has made, which is Hercules, you're not allowed to stay on the earth with Meg because Meg's immortal, and no. So while all that drama is going on, there is a side conversation that Meg kind of eavesdrops on and is kind of thrown in and kind of thrown out. Again, it happens really, really quick, and it's something that unless you were paying attention as closely as I was, then you wouldn't have caught it. But Aphrodite and Demeter talk about how Persephone is missing. And so obviously when I read that part at the beginning of the book, I got chills, because I knew for a fact that there was no way you could write this book without Mr. Sassiness himself. And the fact that little Miss Persephone was missing just made me even that more excited, because let me tell you, I cannot tell you how much I needed to see the Hades with Persephone side of this Hades so much. It's one of those where it's I didn't know I needed it. I really didn't know. It was one of those where it's I could have gone on forever never having had that, little side story happen, but it did. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. Being able to see that side of Hades, which honestly isn't all that different from how he is already. He's still extremely sassy. Honestly, when he finds out that Meg is in the underworld, has like this sole purpose of wanting to keep her there, and is just to torture her forever. But now it's amplified by his protection of wanting to protect Persephone from all the rest of the gods, as well as her mom, and obviously now Meg. And so it's just this, not super duper lovey-dovey side, but it is one of those where you get to see this relationship develop between Hades and Persephone. And it is the cutest thing in the entire world. And trust me, it does not disappoint. So yes, guys, when it comes to rating this beautiful masterpiece, honestly, guys, I just have to do it. I loved this book too much not to be giving it a 5 out of 5 twisted coffee cups. I mean, come on, guys. Hades and Persephone. Not only that, but of course Meg too. So yes, guys, I absolutely recommend this book, especially if you are a Disney lover, and even more so if you are a huge fan of the Hercules movie. I would absolutely recommend it. It's a very quick read. I don't believe it's actually more than 300 pages. I believe it's just over 320. So a very quick read for all of my quick book readers and stuff. A very, kick off the afternoon. You could definitely kill an afternoon with this book. Or if you're like me and you want the journey to be prolonged, definitely a couple of days and stuff, depending on how quick you read. But I definitely, absolutely recommend this book to all of my readers, both young adult readers and my avid adult readers. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining me yet again on another adventure for Books and Coffee. Definitely going to be keeping this track on going. I'm very, very excited. Actually, we're going to be coming up on a new video of manga vibes here really quick. I am very excited to talk about that volume that I have ready to share with y'all. But yeah, guys, until then, do not forget to like, to subscribe. Definitely start commenting down at the bottom. I would love to get to know all of my fans and all of my friends. I am just super duper duper excited. And of course, if you'd like to, follow me on any other socials, I have a TikTok, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram. I'll put the links in the bio. But yeah, come and join me on all my fun, nerdy, bookworm self adventures. And yeah, guys, so we'll catch you later.